so I think I got things figured out. If you all can hear me.
Sorry, everybody. Look on TV.
Are the boys in the back bedroom?
No. The boys are here. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Right, you're not supposed to do that in your license. That's supposed to be a family-friendly license.
So I think I got everything kind of covered here.
What's that you do? Hey, these are things.
Right, knock it off.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. The chat popped out here. Oh no, it's being stupid on me. Sorry. Is anybody commenting, sweetheart?
Mm-hmm. One commented hi.
Okay, good. Okay, there's a comment. I see that now. Good. There we go.
Nate, read the comments. I sent 4 of them. 3 or 4.
Stop.
Yeah, I see it. You're in on your mom's YouTube account.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd like that too much. Okay. That's better. Sorry about that. I had moved my computer into the other room thinking I was going to start working from home, and that didn't end up working out. So, how you doing, Trenton? Hope you can hear me okay, buddy. Okay, so boys, get off the YouTube live stream. Seriously. Okay. So, yeah, I think that'll work a little better. Maybe. I'm not like choppy or anything, am I? Okay. So tonight I'm going to have a pretty decent live stream. Sorry if my other screen is in the way. So tonight I'm going to be making homemade tamales. And it is a little bit of a process. It doesn't take too long, but it does take some time. So I got to get these into soak because they take about 20 to 30 minutes to soak. And it's just all these are corn husks. Um, Buy them from the grocery store, and we bought these at Walmart. And they're already pretty moist, but you want to soak them for quite a while. You want to soak them in warm water. And this is what a corn husk looks like. Pretty easy to figure out. This one's kind of ripped. Some of them, I literally just took them out of the package. But you guys can't see it, but it's a little hair right there. See one there as well. You want to soak them because that's going to clean them and stuff like that. Separate them off. It's not actual hair. It's fibers from the corn husk itself. Just want to kind of separate them off. Each bag is like between 40 and 50. One bag should be okay for what I'm doing, but I have some extra as a backup just in case. I'm separating these off. That way they all get. All I'm doing is taking them how they are, just kind of tossing them in another pile in the sink. Some of these I want to pick out because they're going to be used for different things throughout the process. Okay, that should be good. So how's everybody doing? How you doing, Amanda? How you doing, Mom? That's good. That's good. I Andrew. Now I gotta find the coffee. So how does everybody feel about the money we're all going to be getting? What are you guys going to be doing with that stimulus money here in a couple weeks? Yeah, we're going to be getting $1,200 uh, per adult and $500 per child. Um, and that'll be distributed within 3 weeks, according to the Treasury Secretary. I do apologize about this flipping, bottom part here. I don't know why it's doing that. It does that sometimes. Absolutely nothing. You're not going to do anything with it? I see you're going to get your eye surgery, huh, Mom? Yeah, I know that's needed for you. We're going to take this money and do what thought we were going to do for our tax money. Oh, I mean, this is still technically tax money, but you'll save the money, huh, Trenton? Okay. Are your parents actually going to give you that money that they're going to be getting? That's all you're going to buy? That's not all you're going to buy. Um, we're going to do what we were going to do with our tax money, and we're going to redo our house. Um, I'm looking for my. I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on. There they are. Oh, that's cool. Um, yeah, we are going to redo our house, and this is actually going to be more money to be able to redo the house than what we were going to plan for originally, anyway. So it'll be more of how we want it done. I've been slowly over the weeks getting things, tools and things back together. That way, I can get all the stuff done that I need to get done. You're gonna buy something. Yeah. So, yeah, it's gonna be really nice. I can't wait because I got parts of my floor that are kind of caving in, and it's been needed and redone for a long time. This mobile home was built in 1982, so it needs it pretty bad. She's going to spend $1,200 on just Reese's peanut butter eggs. That's what she says. But Yeah, we like those things. They're pretty good. Like which one? We go through about a bag of these a week. They're pretty good. So like I normally do, I'm going to wait for some people to come in. Um, the way I have this set up, I'm kind of watching everything on my TV. Um, no, he's not. And I'll tell you why. Because he will spend all of it on video games and Fortnite V-Bucks, and that's pointless. He won't spend it on anything useful. He won't save it. He's very irresponsible with money right now. We'll put some money back for him. And it's going to go towards getting him a bigger room. I mean, he's already got a big room as it is, but he'll get a bigger room. He'll have a lot more space. He'll have better, more clothes. I mean, he's gonna get a lot of good stuff. Well, what this money is, I don't know if you guys. I have the bill that passed into law. I have the law literally on my phone. I've looked through. I mean, it's like 700 pages long. I've looked through all the details about the disbursement of the money, how it's going towards, um, how we're ending up paying it back, things like that. And what it is I don't know if a lot of people understand this. Uh, this is actually a tax credit in advance for next year. So those that don't get it right now, um, because maybe they don't have their information with the IRS, maybe they don't have their address with the IRS or something like that. Um, what's going to happen is it's going to be applied as a tax credit for next year's taxes, and it would just go on next year's taxes. So instead of getting it next year, we're getting it now. So if this was applied to this year, just as an example, um, say you got $2,000 back in taxes, total, you'd end up getting this money along with it. So you'd end up getting $3,700 if you had one adult and one child. Um, that's how they're applying it. That's how they're working it in there. That way, um, it's free money. It really is. It's free money, and a lot of people don't understand that. It depends on your tax liability. It depends on how much you have to pay in, how much you get back at the end of the year, things like that. And 90%. Well, I think they said it was like 62% of all Americans are going to get this money, or the full amount of all of this money, because we make under the threshold of 75,000 per adult to get this money back. And they said that they're going to disperse it um, within. They're going to try to disperse it within 3 weeks. So, and that was as of yesterday, as from the day the bill was signed. So, 3 weeks from yesterday would be like the 17th of April. Uh, 16th. No, yeah, 17th of April. So, you're ready to have some money by then, guys. We got to make this type bigger. The TV's big, but it's the type is okay. There we go. Oh, some Air Force Ones, huh? Well, okay. You're going to get it, Amanda. If you got a tax return in 2018 or 2019, you're going to get it. Um, if you made under $75,000, you're going to get the full amount. Um, so you're going to get it, and it's going to go directly into how you got your taxes back. So whatever information, if you have direct deposit set up with the IRS to get your taxes back, that's how you're going to get this. Okay, so my corn husks are soaking still. Um, wash my hands up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, okay, you see my stock pot over here set up, okay? You guys can hear me okay still? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ring off first. To make homemade tamales, you need a steamer pot of some kind. Um, this one, it's not that tall, um, but it'll work. I'll make it work. You want something to be able to steam the tamales with. Now I'm going to do this all kind of like almost like a one pot thing. Um, I'm going to turn my stove on, get the heat going. I'm going to put some gloves on because I'm going to be messing with some chicken. Okay, well, like I said, whether you filed them this year or you filed them last year, they'll go off last year's taxes as well. So you won't have to worry about that. Like I said, you'll still get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cutting board, and she's awake, sweetheart. She's not going to sleep. I got some chicken thighs, which are always good. It's always good chicken to use. Okay, and I'm just going to pull the fat off. The main parts of the fat. Maybe I'll use my knife. So I'm going to kind of defat these. And this is going to end up making a lot of tamales, which tamales are excellent. Well, you need to update your information with the RS then. Um, they're making all kinds of considerations for uh, uh, people who are, work from home, people who didn't file taxes because they didn't need to. I mean, they're doing everything they can to try to get everybody they can this money. And if you don't get it, like I said, if you don't get it this year, it'll go as a credit for next year, and you'll just get it next year's taxes. Love you. But this is going to make a lot of tamales, and tamales are really good and really easy to save and freeze. You can put these in the fridge for up to 3 days. You can put them in the freezer for up to 3 months, as long as they're wrapped good. So making extra tamales isn't going to be an issue. Um, do it.
This is gonna suck.
Why? We got some more packets somewhere. I could send you some. I mean, I'd have to get some like um, some like dry ice or something. Because right now it's taking forever in a day for mail to get from one place to another because of all the other stuff that's being sent through the mail now because people are ordering everything through mail. So so yeah, I was going to say because trying to get these sent through the mail right now is going to be a pain. Okay, so while that chicken is cooking, I just tossed it in my pot. I'm going to let it sear. I'm going to stir it every so often. And then I got some things I'm going to add to it. Yeah, well, what they're doing is they're prioritizing people who order cleaning supplies, gloves, masks, things like that. Um, they're prioritizing those things. So those are things you're going to get first, and then it's going to go to the rest of the stuff. Yeah. Love you. Okay. Okay, so now while that's cooking, I'm going to get the stuff together to make my dough. Okay, there's several. I hope you can still hear me. Um, there's several different recipes out there for dough. What is my iPad being stupid? Okay. Now I'm just going to pull one of them up There's some key ingredients for uh, there's some key ingredients to make tamales. Okay, the main thing is what's called masa harina, and it generally comes with the brand what's called Masaka, and it's a green and white bag. And this is just the most popular brand. This is like, the Maxwell House of coffee, or uh, the Kellogg's brand of cereal instead of the multi-meal brand type stuff. This is corn flour. It's gluten free. It has um, 1 gram of fat, 23 grams of carbohydrates per serving, which really isn't bad considering it is a flour. So about midway through my chicken cooking, I'm going to add something to it. Okay. Anyway, I'm just pulling up a general tamale recipe. Okay. Um, there's different ingredients that you can put inside tamales. The most common ones are like shredded pork, shredded beef, but you can go all out with your ingredients with what you put inside your tamales. Uh, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to use this one. It's just one of the first websites I went to. I've been looking at a whole bunch of websites, and I mean they're all about the same. It just kind of all depends on um, the site you go to. Now, I'm going to take my corn flour. Okay, brand new bag, so I've got to open it up. Corn flour is not like flour. It's not as thin as flour, or it's not as powdery, I should say, as flour. It's still really, really powdery. But this is like, you use corn flour to make like corn tortillas. You use corn flour to make um, corn chips, things like that. So I'm going to take you over here, kind of give you an idea. Okay, regular flour, everybody knows how regular flour looks. This is more of a granulated feel to it. And you can see how it's a little bit more thick, granulated. It's almost like um, the cornmeal, but it's more finely ground. Okay, so I'm going to take I'm going to add some salt to my chicken. Okay, I'm going to add some pepper, whatever pepper I have left. I need to get more pepper still. I haven't gotten pepper in a long time. Okay, and I'm going to take a bit of garlic powder. I'm going to take some onion powder. I'll stir that back up. Okay. So, um, some key ingredients. Sorry, I'm moving the microphone. Some key ingredients of um, uh, these tamales, the dough, this is actual dough, what this ends up being. Okay. Um, this recipe calls for 4 cups of corn flour. Okay. You measure it out like you normally do, flour. So 4 cups. Okay. Now, I also need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I got some baking powder up here. Okay, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I need 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to use regular table salt. A lot of people like to use sea salt or whatever. Now, doughs are very particular about seasonings and flavorings. Anything you put in it, you're going to end up tasting. So if you want a more tasteful, like salty dough, that's up to you. Okay. So now I have some ground cumin. Ground cumin is a it's related to things like nutmeg and cinnamon along those routes. I know it sounds weird to put this kind of a thing in something like this, but it goes really well in Hispanic seasonings. So 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. Cumin also goes good in things like fajitas, um, for the seasoning for the steak or the chicken or whatever. I'm also going to put a little bit of cumin in with my chicken. Okay, about a half a teaspoon. Hi, Marie. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I am making homemade tamales. Okay, so that cumin, when you put it in something like this, it's very uh, blunt for the smell, and it smells very aromatic. Okay, so put this shaker back on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a whisk and mix all that up. You guys can see it's a very thick. It's not like flour at all. It's very thick. That's the only way I can really explain it. Oh, okay. Yeah, we had storms, some pretty good storms last night and this morning. So, okay. So now that I have that all mixed up, like I said, I'm still waiting on my chicken to uh, cook. Now, I've had this sitting in the fridge for quite a while. Um, Amanda knows what this is because she bought it. It's some roasted green salsa verde, and I figured, what? No, I don't think so. Actually, it does. I'll make some with this and some without it. I'm going to make some green chili, some red chili, and stuff like that. So, if I figured this would be a good use for this. Um, Now, I just need to, while I'm cooking this, kind of break it up. Okay, so I'm going to finish making this dough. I can take the. So I got my dry ingredients. Now I'm going to start to add some wet ingredients. And the two ingredients that are left are lard, which is a big player in Hispanic food. Um, Lard is rendered fat. That's all it is. It's rendered generally pork fat. And it adds a lot of flavor when you cook things like these and uh, tortillas and stuff. It's just it's way high. I mean, it's not like dangerous high, but it's high. Ashley's been having some issues with her blood sugar, and we got a glucose meter, so she's been testing pretty regularly when she should, and it's been like all over the place. Some days it's high, some days it's low. And we just don't know what's going on. So yeah, Crisco is just shortening. Lard just gives it more flavor. You can use shortening. You can even use vegetable oil. And it works fine. But lard is what's being called in for this recipe, so that's what I'm using. And ask for 1 1/3 cups of lard. So the way you do add this is 1/3 cup. I'm gonna turn my chicken down a little bit, let it kind of simmer, and put a lid on it for a bit. So I'm going to add this 1/3 cup at a time. And this is where actually, you know what? I'm just going to add it all at once. It's not that big a deal as long as just adding it 1/3 cup at a time or a little at a time helps to break it up easier. I'm just going to do it all at once because I like getting my hands dirty and in there. Lard isn't expensive. This 16-ounce tub was what, $1 something, $2. So for that extra added flavor, I'd go out and buy it. Adds just a little bit better texture and flavor. This is the more authentic way to make tamales. So this was a tub of 16 ounces or 2 cups. I could have just taken 2/3 of a cup out of it and put all the rest in it, but it's fine. Okay, so we're just going to try to pull this out in chunks.
Lainey, no.
Go. Other room. Go with Aunt Ashley.
Where's my toys?
Okay, so I got that in there. Now comes the fun part. Okay. Chicken broth. Now you can use chicken broth, beef broth, vegetable broth, anything like that, but it needs to be a broth. That's going to add the main flavor to the dough. And this is where things get a little messy. So,
In here. In here. When it's cooking, you can't put it on it right now. It's good.
I always keep gloves. I keep as many gloves as I can on hand. Um, I'm cooking. I can't play right now, sweetie. Because gloves always come in handy for something like this. You're going to get this all over your hands, and it's going to be a mess. And instead of having to just, having to make your way to the sink and get it all over the place, just wear gloves. So I'm going to fold this lard into the masa mixture. And this is just like any kind of dough, like a bread dough.
Out of the trash.
You want to incorporate this lard and you can see, I'll bring it over here. You can see it's starting to really incorporate pretty quickly.
No.
So once you get the main aspects of that, the dry ingredients mixed in with the lard, it's going to get a bit flaky. Oh, and lard. You can always store lard in your pantry, and it's great for pie crusts. It's great for, really anything that you want to use shortening in. But it'll give it more flavor. It'll give it more of a texture as well. So now, because it's still flaky, I'm going to take this chicken broth that I've had a little at a time, about a cup at a time, and I'm going to incorporate it. Okay, this is 2 cups here. I may end up, pie crust, anything you want in the very really flaky texture, and that's what it does. That's what it helps with. Oh yeah, you gonna beat me up? We got the kids again this weekend. It's a pretty every weekend thing because they love being here and playing. And no, no, leave it alone. Go see Aunt Ashley. Go see Aunt Ashley. So this is going to get really stiff really quick, as you can see. Um,
Let me know.
I want to add some more. So I got 2 cups in there. I want to incorporate that. And it's going to look like it's going to be really runny, but it's going to turn out really good. That's why you don't want to just do water, because that broth actually incorporates the flavor and stuff in there. I'm going to probably need another half a cup to a cup even. And this is going to turn out to be a really moist dough, but that's how you want it. That cornmeal absorbs the liquid really readily, really quickly. As you can see, it's already, absorbed in there. So you just want to keep working with the dough. You want to keep incorporating it. It's going to be a little tacky. Okay, and it's going to dry out, which this is doing. See how it's getting dry again? What about another cup? Okay. Now I'm going to add half a cup at a time. Okay, yeah. Lard is even used in some icing recipes, believe it or not. Okay, so I'm going to drain my corn nuts. That way they can dry out just a little bit. I'm standing them upright in my sink. That way they can drain all that water off. Okay. So we're going to need a little bit more broth. You can see now this is turning into an actual dough. You see, but it's still not how I want it. So another half cup. Worked perfect. That's going to incorporate in there. And it's going to keep it moist for a while I'm finishing my fillings. But yeah, tamales can have many different types of fillings. You can even just have cheese tamales. Okay. And you just, like I said, you want to work it with like you do bread, folding it and stuff like that. And this is getting heavy on my gloves, so it's kind of pulling my glove off. Okay. So now This has a very pastry-like texture to this dough. Okay, you can use yeah, but those were store-made. I mean, come on, nothing like homemade. Fresh cheese. Depends on the kind of cheese that goes in it. Um, you can use any cheese you like. You can use a Mexican cheese. You can use a cheese blend. Um, but this is a very moist dough. But it's going to go a long way. This is going to go a very long way. It's very thin dough. So I'm going to set this aside. Gloves off. I'll check this chicken. This chicken's over here bubbling and looking good. Okay. So looks like my chicken's done. Now what I'm going to do, because see, this is very moist. I want it moist. I want it cooking its own juices for a bit. So now what I'm going to do, because I actually can't have onions. Yeah, I'm going to fill up a pot, put some chicken in a pot, a smaller pot. And now what I'm going to do, so now my pot turned on over here, over there. And now the rest of us can have onions, so that's not a big deal. I wanted to separate off some for her. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the salsa verde, pour it in there with that chicken. Mix it around. And I'm going to kind of mash up the chicken while it's in the pot. I'm going to turn up the heat too. Okay. And while that's doing that, I have some red salsa that is onionless. I'm going to use in hers. And it doesn't take much. Not much at all. You just want to like moisten everything. That way when you put it in a tamale, it's moist. It's not a dry filling. And then what I'm going to actually do, because I don't want to sit here and kind of chop this up, be careful with my pot, but I'm going to kind of take a side of a potato masher and just kind of shred up. And that's going to knock that chicken apart. texture of shredded chicken, and you can't shred chicken necessarily before it's cooked. So the easiest way to do it is this way. Just kind of tear it apart while it's in the pot cooking and different things like that. So this out of the way, this out of the way. So I'm just getting things out of the way. I'm going to turn the heat off on that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm getting some bowls out. I'm getting 4 bowls out because I have 4 different things that I want to use for ingredients, for fillings. So now what I'm going to do, one bowl at a time, and I'm going to take the glove. Because this is going to be super, super hot. That's mainly why I'm using the glove this time. You don't want this like emaciated, like you don't want to like it torn to smithereens, but you want it shredded up. So a little at a time. I'm going to take it kind of between my hands and get a second glove on here. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of tear it apart in the bowl. Now I'm not doing ashes first because you can't have onions, and if I get onions on my fingers from that salsa verde, then there's going to be solutions. So I'd rather not deal with it and do so. Okay. There's that. Okay, so I'm doing chicken, which I have here. There's my 2 types of chicken. Okay. beef that I have. This doesn't take no time to cook, so. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to kind of work on the chicken a little bit, make sure it's. I still have people in here. I don't see any chat popping up. Nobody's saying anything. Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. So that's going to be okay if that cools off. That's not a big deal at all. Um, cut this hamburger up. It looks like my video over here stuff. I'm just right here. I got my other camera for some reason stopped on me. So it looks like my other camera kind of stopped on me for a little bit. I do apologize about that. I'll try to get it up and going in just a second. Oh, okay. Okay, there it goes. I just had a small connection error. Sorry about that. Okay. Just waiting on this to brown up. While I'm doing that, I'm going to have me a little cigarette here. Okay. You don't have to let it sit. I'm just letting it sit because I got it done before my ingredients were done, or uh, my innards, my fillings, before they were done. So I'm just letting it sit. You could put a moist paper towel over it and let it sit for, an hour or so. That's up to however long it takes for you to get your fillings done. Okay, there we go. Now I got my cover. Okay, so I'm going to turn my burner off here. Let that finish cooking up a little bit. Not really. I just started it when I went live. You can make one ingredient or one filling, and it doesn't take very long at all. Like these fillings are already done. I can be filling my tamales up, but I want to get all 4 fillings done because these are technically 4 different fillings. And okay, so I'm going to drain some of this, put it in here. Doesn't really need much. Put some salsa in it. Not much, just enough. Kind of moist. All I gotta do is make it a little moist. Okay. I'll take this. I'm going to drain this off. I'll pull my corn husks out of the sink. Okay. This is just the way I drain my ground beef. Not everybody does. Um, One thing I wanted to kind of mention, I was talking earlier about the whole coronavirus thing the other day on a rant, or last week on a rant, and there's a thing apparently that's kind of going around to different social media or something like that. Sorry you can't see my face, but there's this thing that's going around with this apparent, I guess he's making himself out to be a doctor, and apparently he did some research and he was looking a bunch of stuff up and saying, oh, this is, there's patents on the coronavirus, there's vaccines on the coronavirus, blah, 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 from back in 2014. That's some scam. That's some chiropractor. Yeah, he's a chiropractor, making himself out to be, somebody who knows stuff about this thing, and saying that, sorry about the noise, making himself out to be someone that knows about this, and that this is all some big government thing, and the coronavirus was actually made and patented, and then the vaccine was made and patented, and he was talking about when SARS went around. Okay, he even says it in the video. So if you see that video, ignore it. He's a guy in what looks like black scrubs, but if you read what it says on the scrub, he's a chiropractor, and he doesn't know nothing. So Anyway, sorry, I kind of wanted to say something about that guy because. Okay, so I've got this also. You can see it's moist. It's got the liquid kind of in there a little bit. The chicken is cold off enough where, as I'm pulling it out, I can shred it. Okay. So you need to make some space, which I haven't done. And you kind of, I mean, you can't really see my work area here, but you kind of can. So I have, back in my stock pot, I have water. I'm going to turn that on medium high. I'm going to let that boil. I want that to boil. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strainer basket. I'm going to kind of sift through some of these real quick. That looks good. You want the ones that are more together, that look more triangular. That looks good. That looks good. That one's smaller. I'm going to set that off aside. That one's ripped. That's why you need a lot of these, because there's going to be a bunch of them that are ripped, a bunch of them that aren't going to be good to be able to make your tamales. Some that are really small. Something like this you can use, whether it's triangular or not. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. I can't use that one, it's too small. I can use this one. Too small. I can use that one. You just go through them and you'll see which ones you can use. Too small. Yeah, I can use it. I can use it. I can use it. These look like I can use these. Okay, so these ones I can use. These ones I can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear some of them into strips. Looks good. They tear into strips really easily because of the grain. use that one. In or out, Ryan?
I'm thinking about it.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these as well. See, I could use this one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in the bottom of my basket. Okay. Now what this is going to do is it's going to stop water from bubbling up into the basket. All I want is the steam. Okay, so you can kind of see how that bottom is covered up. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on top. Actually, I'll wait a little bit. So now that I got my strips, and I've got my husks, I can take a couple of them at a time even. Okay. Okay, I forgot. I'm just gonna do the hamburger in with the salsa. Just make it easy that way. Kind of mix it around. Make it really moist. Okay. So now, what you want to do, you want to take a ball, then take it on your husk, kind of put it in the middle. Okay. You can flatten it out. You want to cover like almost like a rectangle. This is how you want to make this. You can make it about 1/8 of an inch thick. Maybe 1/16 of an inch. I mean, you don't want it very thick. So basically, like this. Okay. Now what you're going to do, I'll get all of these filled up like that. the way I do it is I put the ball at the bigger end, flatten it out, and take my palm of my hand and just push it. That's going to stretch it out and make it look just like that. I'll do another one. I'll kind of show you. Okay. So I get a ball. Okay. Might be too much. Okay. I put it at the top. I take my hand, flatten it out. Okay. And I just push it along. If you need to, use your fingertips to push it more. And it pulls it into a rectangle. You want it to kind of be even from top to bottom. Okay. Okay. So I've got 5 of them here. Hands off. Yeah, it's almost like the consistency of Play-Doh. That's a really good way to describe it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tablespoon or 2 of my chicken or any of my ingredients, whichever one I want these filled up with. Okay, so it does not take much filling. Okay, about that much. I'm going to put it down the center. Maybe a hair more. Okay, so now what you're going to do, okay, so I've got my ingredients down the center. You're going to fold one side over, and then you're going to kind of roll the other side into it. Okay? Now, the dough is going to stick to, I've got too much filling in here. So you don't want too much filling. So you roll it. Okay? Like that. Okay? And then you fold up. You can pinch the bottom. It's going to push some of the dough out the side. And, then you just fold it up. Now I'm going to turn it a little bit so the the side is going to be along one flat side. So I can roll this up. And these are my salsa verde chicken tamales. If there's any dough that comes out, pull it out, push that back together. You take a string and just tie it. Now, you want these to fit in your strainer. My strainer's kind of short, so I have to kind of put them at an angle. Again, you roll one side and then the other. Kind of flatten them out a little bit if you have to, so the sides of the dough touch, and then fold it in on itself. Okay. Fold up the bottom. And tie it. So my water's boiling, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Well, he doesn't want to. This is the most time-consuming part of it. It's getting everything in the husk, tied up, things like that. Now, some people say you should do it from one side of the husk to the other. I don't like doing that because it's not leaving any room for the husk to overlap. You just want a wide expanse of the dough. That way it'll fold over and yeah, so that's how I do it. I basically fold it in half. That way the dough, as you can see, the dough comes together that way. And then roll it a little bit in my hand and fold what's left over. And you can smush it a little bit, fold it at the bottom. What you doing, Lainey? Oh yeah, I'm getting dinner made. Okay.
No.
And some of them, like if you have a bigger husk, you can make bigger tamales. So that one's a bit bigger than I made the other ones. Where's she at, Andrew? Andrew, where's she at?
Yeah, valid. Yeah, we lost the bowl again.
Lock the door then.
We really didn't need that ball. I got it. I don't want to do it. And then it didn't matter.
Andrew, take her in there with you. Where she wants to be. Play with her.
I got my split.
got done so far?
Nine of them that put in the steamer basket and take about 20, 30 minutes. So
Make sure your sister does not be quiet.
I've got 9 of the chicken salsa verde ones done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of the chicken salsa ones, the ones that have the salsa without onions. And the way and I'm going to put them in the same pot so they cook at the same time. And there's an easy way to make it so you can tell the difference. A good way that if it gets too sticky on your hands, just wash your hands a little bit, and it won't be as sticky on your hands.
Stop.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to fold these just how I did the other ones. Okay, fold it over just like I did the other ones, but where the seam is, instead of folding it the same side as the seam, I'm going to fold it. Oh, I'm going to do that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tie, and all I would do with the other ones, I would tie them this way. Okay, so my fold was all on the same side as the seam, but this time I'm just going to flip it. So my knot is on the opposite side of the other ones. So this way I can tell these ones are this specific kind.
Brian. Brian.
So basically, the bigger the husk that you use, the bigger you can make the tamale. You want to pack you don't. I mean, you can really go packing them in there because they're all going to steam equally. these do take some time. Actually, just putting them together is the longest period of time. So now that I got a bunch of those put together, I want to do some of the ground beef ones. Okay. So some of the salsa ones, I'm going to tie the ones with the salsa. Oh, they're all salsa. I forgot. I did all salsa for these. You can put cheese on top after they're done. So these ones are ground beef. They're easy to recognize, easy to tell which is which. It does create a mess on your countertop, so be prepared for that. We've got enough room for a few more.
Mixed with your small behind the couch.
Huh?
Mixed with your small behind the couch. My Twizzlers small behind the couch.
Oh. Why'd they do that?
I forgot they were out here in the hill. Then we resolved.
Okay. One more. And then have to steam for about 30 minutes. And they'll be done. Now you'll be able to tell when they're done when the dough easily separates from the husk. So like it'll be you'll be able to easily unwrap the husk from the dough. Okay, last one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my steamer basket full of tamales, place it right on top, rearrange these to make sure they're all going to fit in there. Take the hands off. Nice snug fit. I'm going to turn my water back up. Take my lid. Get it nice on there. And wait. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to clean up this mess, and I could get some more ready for another batch, which I'll end up doing. But I'm going to wait a little bit. Now, we do have a backup in case the kids don't like them or Ashley doesn't like them. We do have backup food in the that I could really easily cook real quick, or I could just order pizza. Either way.
No, because Bradley won't eat pizza.
Well, Bradley would be SOL. That's the gist of making tamales. Still got some dough left. Still got quite a bit of dough left in there. That'll make quite a few more. I'll finish up the meat that I have. And finish up the husks that I have. So, in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of clean up the area a little bit. Mm-hmm. You can make homemade tortillas, homemade corn chips, anything. With the corn flour, it could, yeah. Like I said, you could put it a damp paper towel on it. It'll last up to a few hours, as long as that moisture doesn't seep away from it. These were only like $5 a bag, if that. And they last quite a while. they're just dried corn husks. So you can keep those if you like these, and you want to make more later. You have more corn husks. You don't have to go and having to go get them. So yeah, it's hurting a little bit right now for some reason. It just started hurting while I was fixing the food. So I don't know. I've been told as long as it's not painful 24/7 and nothing's like if I can still push it back in, like I can, hold on to it and it's fine. If nothing is like permanently stuck out or something, they're not going to do anything. It doesn't require surgery that way. I just have to deal with it. But yeah, it is a bad hernia day. You can already start to see, like this one, where the dough is kind of coming out, kind of stuck to the wrap, the corn husk a little bit. You can see where it's retaining that moisture, it's taking it in, and you're going to see these clump up and everything else. It's a dough and it's going to cook. You just saw that wrapper fall off, the knot fall off. But they're not really that expensive to make if you have some extra.
Where's the slide?
If you have some extra.
On the back of your sister's shirt.
Yeah, they puff up a little bit. Yeah, that's why you don't want to make the dough too thick on the wrap because they do cook. They take in the steam and they puff up a little bit. As you can see, as it's cooking, that's a perfect example how it's going to puff up and you see that wrap pulling apart. How that one, push the knot off of the wrap and everything. You can see that right there. That one. Okay. See that? Steam came out. Got my finger. Be careful. Yeah, these take about 25 to 30 minutes to cook. Just depends on how tight you have your lid on, other variables, and how dry or how moist your dough was. There's a lot of things that go into how quickly or how long these take to cook. So the best way to check is just kind of wash through the lid. You can see that one, like I said, it's puffing up quite a bit. So you'll be able to tell.
You know, right now this is just kind of an experiment type dinner, so we're just gonna eat much on these. These are like a main course type thing. I mean, you have your bread, your protein, um, things like that in it. You could,
Make Spanish fries if you want fries. No. No. There's a lot of mix. No, it's like a Spanish fries.
yeah, rice or beans.
Or if you want to go all Mexican, do both.
Mhm.
They do it.
Yeah.
We got all kids in our office.
We got chicken nuggets and stuff in there. You used them all?
No.
So, yeah, they look like they're going to turn out pretty good. Um, I am though going to get going from the live stream. I've been streaming for about 2 hours now. Yeah, it does take a little while to get them together if you have multiple fillings and things like that. This is actually, to be honest, the first time I've done tamales. But it's pretty straightforward. You can get your ingredients together earlier in the day, whatever you want to do. You got leftover meat. You can even take like a rotisserie chicken, which will cook up, speed up the cooking process. Uh, uh, Take a rotisserie chicken, um, shred it up, add some salsa verde to it, let it or kind of simmer it for just a little bit so that those flavors get in with that chicken, and uh, take your dough and put it in your husks. It takes about an hour or less that way. But I just wanted to show you. I know you were asking how to make tamales, and yeah, you can do. I mean, if you have a bigger steamer pot, like a really deep one. I know we used to have one when I was growing up. It was really deep. We used it for spaghetti. Um, you can take that um, and fit a bunch more in there. Just sit them upright. I had to lean mine to the side because it wasn't as tall. If yours is taller, oh yeah, I figured. But if you have a taller steamer pot or even an instant pot would work. Take the steamer basket and the instant pot and put them in there, and they're done in like 20 minutes in an instant pot. By what I was reading, so there's multiple ways to do it. This is just really, like I said, my first actual time doing it, and I wanted to follow use what I had. So, okay, okay.
How should you get this on?
But I'm gonna get going for now. I'll take a picture and I'll send you, or I'll might video chat you or something when they're done. I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Okay. But for now, I'm gonna get going. And I'll talk to you later. Anybody else who sees this, thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't, hit that like button. And we'll talk to you later. All right. Till next time. Have a good one.